Hello students, this is our second video of DSP wherein we will be learning about fundamentals of DFT. The objective of this video is to make you understand why do we go for DFT, why it is the most used transform for digital signal processing, and you will learn something about other transforms as well. Why do we need transforms and why DFT is the most used one. So now this is the diagram. On the left column we will see all the signals in time domain. One of it is in continuous time domain signal, the others are in discrete time. The right side of the column is showing the signals in frequency domain. The same signals, when they are converted into frequency domain, how do they look? Clear? So now let us start with a simple continuous time signal. What is a continuous time signal? It is a signal which continuously varies with time. The variable t, the continuous time variable t, is a continuous variable. That means it has values all over the range. On the y-axis we have got x of t, and this is my signal, how it behaves with respect to time t, which is a continuous variable. On this signal, when I perform a transform CTFT, CTFT stands for continuous time Fourier transform. So when I pass this signal, a continuous time signal, it could be anything. It could be audio signal, it could be video signal, it could be an image signal, it could be anything. When I pass this signal through a continuous time Fourier transform, this transform is used to convert continuous time signals from time domain to frequency domain. So the signal or the spectrum in frequency domain signal, it is also known as a spectrum of the signal. Spectrum means a frequency domain representation of the time domain signal. So this spectrum will look something like this. With respect to frequency, we plot the amplitude at various frequencies, right? So there is a peak. Peak is at frequency f0, which is the fundamental frequency of this signal. So maximum energy is contained in frequency f0, which is the fundamental frequency. The other gradually declining amplitudes are its harmonics, which are again present in the original signal but whose contribution to the energy of the signal is very less. Now coming back to a time domain signal, it is very hard or it is very difficult or complex to process a continuous time signal, and also it is very complex to store and transmit a continuous time signal. Since there are infinite number of values within a short span of time, it becomes very difficult and complex to process, store and transmit such signals. So what do? Is we sample such signals. What is sample? We take samples at discrete intervals of times, right? Here t is to be replaced by n into ts. N is the discrete time variable and ts is the sampling period, which is also the gap between two samples. This is ts. Okay. So this is how a discrete time signal will look like when I sample a continuous time signal. This is again a time domain signal. if I want to transform this signal into frequency domain, I will pass it through one more mathematical tool. It is discrete time Fourier transform. Even this was covered in signals and systems. This is how it will look like. Omega, which is our discrete frequency, x of omega, and DTFT में we'll see that there are energy bundles formed, or such bundles are formed. The bundles are repeated. They are images of the first bundle, and they get repeated after every 2 pi. So the first energy bundle is from 0 to 2 pi, and the same energy bundle gets repeated from 2 pi to 4 pi. There will be a peak. Peak again is a fundamental frequency, omega naught, twice omega naught, then there will be thrice omega naught, and so on and so forth. So now if we want to process such type of a signal, if you want to pass it through a filter, it does not make sense to process the whole signal from minus infinity to plus infinity. And why is that so? Because it is same replication of just one energy bundle which is unique from the range of 0 to 2 pi. And in other ranges it is just replication of the first energy bundle. So rather than processing the whole signal from minus infinity to plus infinity, what do? Is just we process it from 0 to 2 pi. We take just one unique energy bundle from 0 to 2 pi, and we process or we sample it. Right? Because again, this is a continuous variable. Omega is a continuous variable. And as I stated earlier, complex variables are difficult to store, process and transmit. The overhead charges of the system, the overhead cost of the system increases many-fold if the signal that you want to process is a continuous time or a continuous variable. So we just need to discretize everything. So we can convert an analog signal to a digital signal, then process it. And then if need be, we can again reconvert it into an analog signal. So what do? Is we sample. Now there is one thing about sampling which I haven't mentioned. When sampling is done in one domain, there are multiple images created in the frequency domain. That is why when sampling here was done in time domain, images are created in the frequency domain of the original signal. Let me repeat this once again. When you sample in any one of the domain, corresponding images are created in the counter domain. Now one domain being here is time domain and the counter domain being here is frequency domain. So when I sample this signal in time domain, images of the original signal are created in the frequency domain. So now when I am about to sample in time domain, when I am about to sample in frequency domain, what should be the corresponding effect in time domain? This is my original signal. Images will be created in the time domain. Let us delve in little bit detail now. These are the expressions of CTFT, which is with respect to f, continuous frequency f. This is DTFT, which is with respect to n and omega. Omega is a continuous discrete frequency variable, and this is DFT. Now, as we have observed, this energy bundle is unique in the range from 0 to 2 pi, after which it repeats. So, we are just going to consider the unique range and sample that range. So, here is my range of 0 to 2 pi, and here is the omega, which is a continuous variable which I need to discretize. So, this continuous variable in the range from 0 to 2 pi, I am just about to take some samples out of it. Alright. So, the range 0 to 2 pi, I will divide it into n samples, let us say. So, 2 pi by n. But each sample I need to give an index, right? So, that index for me would be k. So, this sample, the first sample is at k is equal to 0. So, when I substitute k is equal to 0 here, what will I have? Omega is equal to 0. So, that is what it is. Omega is equal to 0. Then the second sample is at index k is equal to 1. So, if I substitute k is equal to 1 here, and let us say I have taken 8 samples here. In the range from 0 to 2 pi, I have taken 8 samples. So, 2 pi by 8, that is pi by 4. So, the frequency at this point is pi by 4. And k is equal to 2. I substitute it here 2. So, 2 pi 2 by 8. So, the frequency at this point will be pi by 2. And so on and so forth. Right? So, but then every sampling theorem is dictated by a certain minimum sampling frequency. I hope all of you have aware of the sampling theorem or the Nyquist criteria, which states that when you sample, you have to make sure the minimum sampling frequency is equal to twice the maximum input frequency, which is also called as Nyquist frequency, right? So, even here we are sampling, when we are sampling, we cannot take random number of samples. We have to take samples which is more in number than the number of samples present in time domain. Clear? So, if there are, let us say, 8 samples here in the time domain, this is a finite duration signal, and if I am taking 8 samples in this range, then I have to take at least 8 samples in the range from 0 to 2 pi or even more than that, but minimum number of samples has to be 8. I will be doing a MATLAB program on this. What will happen if you choose n, capital N, that is the total number of samples taken from 0 to 2 pi. If they are less than the number of samples in the time domain, then what will happen? Or if they are more than the number of samples here, then what will happen? We will look into the MATLAB program and see what is the output. So, you will get a clear idea as when you are deciding n. So, now W is equal to 2 pi, that is the whole range, divided by n, that is the number of samples, total number of samples, and k, which stands for the index of the sample. So when I replace this W here with 2 pi k by n, this is what I get. And now since we are just, rather than going from minus infinity to plus infinity, which is the range of this signal, we are just sampling it from 0 to n minus 1. So even here, in the expression for DFT, the limits for summation will be 0, n is equal to 0 to n minus 1. So it is n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n into e raised to minus j 2 pi k n by capital N. Is it clear? So again, once again I'll revise quickly. Let's say there is a time domain signal x of t, which I'm converting it into frequency domain signal x of f. So this is how the spectrum will look like, with a peak at the fundamental frequency f naught. Clear? Then this signal we discretize. We sample the signal. Why do we need to discretize? So that it is easier to process, transmit and store the signal. So we sample it using a normal sampling theorem. We decide the sampling frequency and we sample the signal. This is how my signal will look like. And when I convert this into frequency domain, sampling in one domain will result in creating images in the counter domain, which is the frequency domain. So the image of the original spectrum is created after every 2 pi. Clear? Then we sample it. Again, why do we need to sample? Because this is a continuous variable. Omega is a continuous variable. It is much more easier to work with a discrete variable. So we sample it. How many samples do we take in the range from 0 to 2 pi? Is there any free sampling theorem? Yes. The number of samples to be taken from 0 to 2 pi have to be at least equal to the number of samples in the time domain. It could be more, but minimum has to be equal to the number of samples in the time domain. If there are 8 samples, then minimum number of samples you will be taking in the range from 0 to 2 pi will be 8. If there are 4 samples, then minimum samples you will be taking in the range from 0 to 2 pi will be 4. Minimum, I said. You can also go for higher value. And when I convert this into time domain signal using the inverse discrete Fourier transform, you will see that images of the original signal are created. Again, here we won't be working with the images, we will be only working with a unique signal over the range of 0 to n minus 1. Clear? That is it.